Hi, this is Joseph Clark, and I'm speaking to Gareth Nelson on the Gareth Nelson Show. Enjoy it.
Okay, we are joined by singing sensation Joseph Clark here on the Gareth Nelson Show today. Joseph, how are you doing?
I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
How's the weather there?
Not too bad. So, firstly, how did you get started into music? And I know you started off in ballet initially, but how did you make the transition into singing?
I actually didn't start off in ballet.
Oh.
I've been singing all my life. My mother and my family were very musical.
Mm-hmm.
My mother had a radio program, actually, her own radio program, in Amarillo, Texas, which is where I was born. So I grew up in that radio station. She had a big grand piano because she was quite a good pianist and singer, and she'd always have. I have two older brothers, so she'd always have us on at Christmas time and at Easter time to sing with her. So singing has always been part of my life since I was very, very young.
Yeah.
But all I ever wanted to be was an actor. I just wanted to be an actor. So when I got into acting drama classes in high school, my drama teacher said, you must have some dance training because you can sing and you can act, and your forte is going to be in musical theater. So that's when I started dance training, and I was only 17 when I started then. So. And then I just got hooked into it because I loved ballet especially so much because as an actor, it so appealed to me because dance is you can tell a story in dance without saying anything.
Yes.
You know, there's no words, there's no language that you have to learn. Just through movement, you can tell an entire story.
Yes,
so that kind of got me interested. That's why I stayed with ballet for as long as I did because. And I excelled in the dramatic roles like Romeo and Juliet and Giselle and ballets like that. So so I started dance training when I was very late. But it was I had a great career as a dancer. It took me all over the world. So and so when I got to the point where I'd kind of done everything that all the roles that, a principal dancer could do, I did. So then I thought, well, I've done it. So why continue just to go on to it? So I thought, well, I'll go back to acting. I'll try and get my acting career. And it was then that I started, that the people started saying, well, man, you have a great voice. Why don't you sing? So I started getting booked with symphony orchestras to do pops concerts and stuff. And then I thought, oh, well, because I never thought, even though I'd sung all my life, it never crossed my mind to become a professional singer.
Yes.
Yeah, I always just wanted to be an actor. So so people started booking me for just, concerts. So I thought, well, I'll do this. I mean, if they think I've got a good voice, then I'll do it. And then it was in 1990 that I was cast in a show that premiered here in South Africa called Queen at the Opera.
Yes.
And that was the first time I'd ever kind of come across Queen's music.
Okay.
And so when we started learning the music, suddenly everybody said, "Wow, you have a very similar voice to Freddie."
You do.
So and then it's that's become. I hate to say bread and butter because it's more important than that, but that's become the one thing that people ask me to do the most.
Yes.
So that's kind of the long story. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I tend to go on.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
With the regards to the Queen thing, I mean, obviously Freddie Mercury had such a unique voice and style on stage. So for me personally, seeing you do it is probably arguably one of the best performances I've seen of Queen music.
Thank you.
What is it like, though, to do it? Is it intimidating to take on Queen's music? And especially now with this new movie coming up, how do you feel about Queen music being brought back to the relevant spot again?
Actually, there's I'll preclude that with my band was asked to open for the premiere of Bohemian Rhapsody here in South Africa. And we were supposed to do that on the 23rd of November, but something changed. So and now we can't do it. So so that's kind of a disappointment. No, I think it's great. I think Queen's music has always been in the forefront. But now with the movie, because I think everybody's like fascinated by Freddie Mercury. and stuff. But I approach Queen's music in a whole different way. You know, I don't do a Freddie Mercury impersonation, because to my mind, Queen is not about Freddie Mercury. Queen is about the music that they produce.
Yes, yes.
And all four of them, even in the words of Freddie, I actually saw an interview that I'd never seen before with Freddie, and he said that. He said they're all four at the top of their game as composers.
Yes.
And they all compose things in a completely different way and a completely different style. And that's what made Queen's music last so long, is because they had such variety in their writing. So, but to tell you, yes, it is a little bit intimidating, mainly because the music is just so full, and it's actually difficult. You know, not a lot of people can actually do that music live. And the nice thing also about the way I approach the show is that because we're not set into any kind of Freddie Mercury or Queen impersonation, we don't have to kind of recreate a Wembley or a live performance. And so we can delve into the music that about a third of the songs that we do in our show are songs, still greatest hits Queen, but songs that Queen actually never did live.
Okay.
So we get that what is it
you tap into like an uncharted territory.
We get the pleasure and the honor of doing those songs, those great songs that aren't normally done live. That people will only hear at a recording, so they can see these songs that they hear just in the recording, and they can see them done live, and that's what we kind of concentrate on.
Any particular favorites to perform?
Yeah, people have been asking me that since 1990, since I've been doing it. There are two. I can say now that there are two songs that are my favorite Queen songs of all time. Both of them relatively unknown. The one is "You Take My Breath Away."
Yes.
Which is a song that Freddie composed in 1976. It's just a little love song. It's just him on the piano with Brian May doing a little bit of guitar in the middle. And then the other one now is Mother Love from the Maiden Heaven medley. Oh, that is just, I get chills every time I do it. Yeah, it's just, and it's the last song that Freddie Mercury ever recorded.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, he never finished it. Brian May had to finish it because Freddie was busy recording it, and one evening while they were doing it, he says, "I'm a little bit tired.
Yes.
Well, we'll finish this tomorrow." And the next day, they flew him to England because he was too sick.
Oh, what a sad story, isn't it? I mean, it's such a waste of great talent. I mean, really.
Yeah. That's one of the other reasons why I don't try to impersonate Freddie, because really, who can?
You can't.
He's so unique.
Absolutely.
You really can't. Nobody, especially in a live situation, nobody can really do that master justice, because he was a one-off.
Well
he was
said.
Completely unique, a one-off.
Absolutely, well said. Well, you do a fantastic. You represent his music beautifully going forward, and Queen's music, of course, going forward as well.
Thank you.
So well
Thank
done
you.
on that.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to ask you. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah.
Please. No, please carry on.
No. You go.
Okay. I wanted to ask you now, for you now performing live in South Africa, I mean, has it changed over the years? Is the state of music in South Africa in a healthy position?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is in a very healthy situation at the moment, especially. I think across the board. I was going to say especially in the black market, but even in the even in the English market and the Afrikaans market, music is really booming at the moment. So it's quite good. Yeah.
And the state.
And I think that.
I
think that the audiences are getting more used to going out to see. These live. They're really starting to support the live acts rather than just buying their music in the shops. Now they're going out to see the concerts and everything. So it's quite good at the moment.
And you don't feel that with petrol prices going up and tax and all these other things that people are sort of cutting costs, as it were, and not doing things entertainment things, for example?
You know what? Some people are, but I think that. Again, what I say is I think that South Africa has come in kind of tune with the rest of the world, that they're kind of realizing that entertainment is actually worth the extra money.
Yes.
Because it feeds, because of the petrol price going out, because of the political situation and everything is so kind of, well, not depressing, but not in a happy state that they think that their life is. So they're not afraid to kind of go, well, let's just go and listen to some live music. Let's go and have a good time. Let's go and forget about what's happening at the office or what's happening in politics, and let's just go and be entertained and enjoy ourselves.
Absolutely. It's more important now than ever, I suppose, as you say.
Definitely.
And now, what would you say is the sort of state of world music at the moment? I mean, obviously, we're seeing a lot of sort of online music coming out, people making music on computers, etc., and releasing it. And you've seen the rise of different genres of music, from electronic dance music to hip hop, etc. Does rock music, for example, is it still relevant and performance?
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely think it is. I think that, in fact, people like fads and crazes. They go because they like something new. But I think in terms of music, I think that kind of wears off, and that people will always go back to real music and good music.
Yes,
and the whole Queen thing is, their music is still fresh today, as it always has been, because it's good music. It's not, and a lot of people, and even in the recording industry, a lot of people are going back to the basics, are going back to this. A lot of studios now are installing analog systems again, so that they can record in the old way, because that sound, that kind of vinyl sound, it has always been superior to the kind of digital sound. And I think that also the music industry, I've talked to many people in the music industry, and even 10 years ago, they were saying that the music industry, because of everything is so accessible now, and people can get it and download it without paying anything. And a lot of artists are just kind of putting their music out there and letting people go, and they say that people will, because people can get that music for free. If your band or your music thing comes into town, they will pay whatever it is to go and see that.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because they've gotten that music for free.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, they would say, oh, no, I don't want to see them. I'll just buy the CD in the shop.
Absolutely.
But they get that music for free, and they say, I want to see these guys sing my favorite song. I've got to go and see them. And that's going to be good for the music industry, because what it's going to do is it's going to cut out all of the studio sensations, the people that are produced completely in a studio, and only the real singers, only the real bands, only the real musicians that can play live night after night after night on a tour are going to be the ones to survive. And that's where the music industry is going to go. It's going to go back to live music, which is where it should be.
And performing, absolutely, and entertaining people live and interacting with an audience.
Absolutely. Because people, in the old days when there were vinyls, it was that situation, people bought their vinyls, but if they were in town, they went to see it. They weren't saying, oh, no, I've got their record, I won't go and see them. They wanted to go and see it. But the digital age has somehow, changed our whole perspective of society. It's not just music. It's easy now to sit behind a laptop or even your smartphone with a piece of with Bluetooth headphones on, so you don't even have a wire, and you can listen to anything. You can listen to 40 million songs on Spotify or whatever, however many they have. So it's become impersonal, and what music has to do is it has to bring back the personal kind of touch. Again, talking about Queen. Queen loved their fans. Queen wrote music for live shows and for their live fans.
And Freddie was such a great entertainer, wasn't he? I mean, just going on stage. He was the greatest frontman of any rock band of all time.
There's never been anybody to equal. That guy. When Queen started, they were kind of really the first stadium band, really, in a big way.
Absolutely.
And when they played a stadium, that was long before all these big screens and everything that people could see them. And I'm telling you, Freddie, the 150,000th guy in the back of whatever soccer field or whatever they were going could see Freddie and feel him.
Yes. And that
energy, even though he was like smaller than a toothpick, they could see him and feel him.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean? And that's what made him so good, because he played to everybody in the audience.
Absolutely. Well said. Now, what would your advice be to a young artist, say a singer, a dancer, an actor, comes to you and says, I want to do this? What would you advise them?
I would advise them to do it. If they really want to do it, but they have to do it. Do you know what I mean? They can't go, I'll kind of do it at least, but what am I going to do about, paying the rent and all this, that's something that you have to, if you're going to make it in this industry, and it's always been that way. It's never changed. If you're going to make it as a professional in the entertainment business, that's what you have to do. You can't be a waiter or a bank teller or this and then go to auditions and say, I'm going to do this. You have to. Do you know what I mean? I might be oversimplifying it, because, we do have to make a living. We do have to pay the rent. But it's a mindset.
Absolutely.
It's the mindset of going, that's what I'm going to do. I'll do anything that I have to do at the moment in order to do that. But that is what I'm going to do, and that's how I'm going to make my life.
Absolutely. So it has to be that end goal at the end of the day.
It has to be. It has to be the end goal. You have to have the confidence to say, I can do this, and I am going to do it.
And career
no matter what anybody says, I'm going to do it.
Absolutely. Well, it's fantastic advice, and like I said, to go for it and to actually live that dream, as it were.
You have to live the dream. Yeah, you do.
And on a personal front,
you can't depend on idols or X Factor or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a whole different road, and that's nobody. That's a whole nother thing that I could go on. That's a tangent that I could go on for forever. That whole live kind of getting somebody out of that. The thing that I can sum up is, I love this comment by Dionne Warwick. She was asked, because she did one of the original kind of auditions for American Idols. As one of the judges, and she was interviewed one time. She said, so what do you think about all of this, this TV and the reality show and American Idols and everything? And she said, well, in my day, you had to be a singer in order to get into a studio. She said, today you can be the pizza man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go on to that, actually. What is your sort of view on this sort of reality competitions and making it a glorified competition now to become the next big thing, as it were? I mean, does it really pay dividends, or do you really see these artists doing it the old-fashioned way still? Is it just for that time and effort that they're on these TV shows that they actually sort of?
Yeah, I'm not a big believer in it, especially now, because in the original, I think it was, the first. The first part of it, because it started in Britain, and then it went to the States, and now it's kind of gone. Even South Africa's got it now.
Yes.
But when it originally started, it was quite interesting, to see normal people that had this passion in them, and to get. But I think that. After now in the last few years, the show is about the judges and not about the contestants.
Absolutely.
And the contestants are kind of forgotten. And I know just from people doing X Factor and The Voice and SA Idols, that these young people who really don't know the business, who really haven't kind of gone up. That just kind of sung, and their friends and their family say, "Oh, you must go on to this and go," and then they win, but they literally sign their lives away.
Yes,
they don't get anything out of it. The company gets something out of it. The record company that signs them gets something out of it. But the minute they don't kind of do, or they don't kind of sell, they're completely forgotten. But the people who have gone through, and it's the age-old thing, but you have to pay your dues. The people who have gone through a life of like really, like what I said earlier, of going, I'm going to make music, and I don't care. I don't care if I play a big stadium. If I can play in a theater restaurant for 150 people, I'll do that. Because if that pays the bills, that's what I'll do. And because they do it because they love it. And the whole idols thing, the whole thing is not about the love of music. It's about the love of celebrity.
Absolutely.
I think that's my personal opinion.
Well, it's
and
true.
The story that I love is you'll know her very well, Katie Tunstall.
Yes.
I saw a documentary on her, and she played pubs in Glasgow, in Scotland. She played pubs and that's what she did.
Yes.
She didn't, and somebody heard her. Somebody in the record industry heard her in a pub and just said, "Don't you want to do like don't you want to record your stuff? Don't you want to do an album?" She said, "Oh, I'm happy doing what I do, but I mean, obviously, I can't afford to do it on my own. If you want to do this," and they went in and they produced that first album of hers, and she won a Grammy. This was a girl who had, for years and years and years and years, just played pubs, so she paid her dues.
Yes.
So when she walked into the studio and created this album, there you go. That's the experience. The experience comes across.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she even said in the documentary, she said, even if this is the only record I ever sell, I'll go back and play my pubs and clubs and do my little concerts. She said, because that's what it's about. It's about the music and not about whether I win a Grammy or not.
And that's the thing as well. Isn't music become far too commercial? Like, I suppose, like most things in this world now. I mean, everything is,
definitely.
Everybody's trying to do a deal and make money, and it's not about talent now. It's about how much you can market somebody.
Yes, exactly. That's what it is. It's a whole marketing thing. It's a whole, it's like it's like business guys now running the music business, not people who have grown up in musicians or grown up being with musicians and knowing how to produce them. It's now like administration guys, CEOs that run businesses and everything. They run it like a business, and the arts can't be run like a business. Obviously, there has to be a fine line. There has to be somebody in a ballet company, in a big ballet company, that has to be able to kind of do the books and raise all the money and everything. But it's not about, a ballet company is not a corporation. It's an art.
Absolutely.
It's an art form, And, Picasso never had an administrator.
True.
You know what I mean? He just painted. And if people liked his stuff and paid $1 million for it, fine. But he just painted. You didn't have some guy going, "Oh no, Picasso, you can't really do that."
Yes.
You've got to stay with the blue. Stay with the blue stuff because that sells the most. So stay with the blue stuff, And that's what's happening with music. Stay with this. And again, talking about Queen, that's what makes Queen so unique, because right from the very beginning, they said, we're going to do music our way. And the production companies, the record companies said, "Oh, you've got this sound, so you need to stay with this sound." And Queen went, "No. We are going to do." And I saw also an interview with Brian May, and he said, "We were either very stupid or very brave, because right from the beginning we said we're going to do music our own way."
And you can see with with Bohemian Rhapsody, for example. I remember seeing something about that where the guys said, "It would never work. It's never going to work." And look at it today.
That's right. Yeah, it'll never sell. It's too long. It's too complicated. It's this. And look, it's the greatest. Been voted consistently as the greatest rock song ever written.
Absolutely. And now the future for you. I mean, what's on the horizon, as it were?
Well, it's this tour to the Netherlands, which we're leaving today.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, we're leaving today. We're doing 4 performances. We're going to be there for 10 days, but we're going to do 4 performances. In Dudenchem, Roosendaal, Nijmegen, and there's one other date. I'll have to. I didn't have it written down, but there's 4 performances. From the 9th to the 16th.
Okay.
And so that's like a kind of a fast and furious
quick little tour,
little tour and stuff. But we we've been going to the Netherlands consistently since 2011, so
Okay.
they really like us there, and also Belgium. We've played Belgium, and I've also played even earlier than that. I've done it, played in Berlin.
Okay.
We did a small tour in Italy. So yeah, I've been a lot in Europe, and I love playing to the European audiences, especially because when you get the reactions that you do, you realize that you've done something good, because these are people that grew up with Queen.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? They just didn't hear them on their records and everything.
They
saw them live lots of times, not just once in their life. You know, the Queen went there a lot. And when you get good compliments, when you get great compliments and great response from audiences, you know, okay, we're doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing here with this music.
And that takes me to my next question. I mean, it's a double-edged sword for this one. I mean, what's your career highlights firstly, and then secondly, lowlights, things that you would do better or change?
My career highlights, I can name two very, very good ones. The first is the best of all, that I was chosen to sing for Nelson Mandela on his 85th birthday.
Yes.
And that was a big, for some reason, his 85th birthday was a huge thing, because everybody from all over the world was there. I was singing. There was Nelson Mandela and Graciela, and next to him was Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton.
Oh, wow.
And on the other side of Graciela was Oprah Winfrey. There was every head of state in Africa. There was Robert De Niro was there.
Oh, wow.
Bono was there. Bono was sitting literally just right there on the other stage, and I can remember singing, going, "Yeah, you know, you sit there and I'll sing to you this time," you know. So that was a great thing. And then the other thing was in 2011, my band, the local band that's going overseas now today to the Netherlands, we played at the Gelredome in Arnhem in a soccer stadium to 30,000 people.
Oh, wow.
And it was just us. So they didn't know us from Joe Soap, but they filled that theater, that soccer stadium, and we played. It was just us, us playing for 2.5 hours Queen's music. So it was that was also a big highlight. Yeah.
Yes. And the lowlights, the things that
the lowlights I forget. The lowlights aren't worth.
Absolutely. Well said.
I think I do a lot of corporate entertainment.
Yes.
I don't know if it's big, you know, overseas. I think it is, but it's quite big in South Africa. I do corporate entertainment, and I was doing an award show, a corporate award show, a CEO awards or something, and it went on for a long time. And I was scheduled to sing Barcelona with a very, very famous South African soprano, Sibongile Ngoma, who's sung overseas, and it just went on too long. It was like 11:30, and we're sitting in the kitchen of this conference room, and she's in her big ball gown, sitting in a chair asleep. That's how late it was. She was asleep, and there we were waiting to go on. I think we went on just before midnight to sing Barcelona for this corporate thing. So I think that can kind of go as a low.
The unglamorous side of music, as it were.
Yeah.
And Joseph, where can we find out more about you online, etc.?
Yes, you can. I'm on the website. I think it's josephcarlclark.co.za. Or no, it's Joseph Clark. Sorry, it's Joseph Clark. Yeah, .co.za. And then I am on Facebook, Joseph Clark SA. I think, you know what? I'm the worst at social media. No, I am. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. You know, I barely know how to get onto my Facebook account. And Twitter, I just kind of look at. I've done a couple of and Instagram. I just look. I don't even try to post anything on Instagram.
Don't post.
So I'm kind of old school in that way. I'm very sorry.
Let the music do its talking at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I think that I think all my Facebook and Twitter and stuff is on the website. So.
Okay. Well, I'll promote it after the interview as well.
Thank you. You're probably a lot better. Thank you. Somebody knowledgeable. Yes. Yeah.
Well, Joseph, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you today, and we hope to chat to you again in future on the show. But all the best with the tour, and we'll chat anon.
Oh, thank you. And thanks so much for the opportunity to talk to you, and thanks for phoning all this way. It's
Oh, it's only a
fantastic,
pleasure.
man, really.
Only a
Yeah,
pleasure.
great. And it's a great show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you.
Okay.